For those who might be struggling with loneliness, it's important to remember that you're not alone in feeling this way. Many older adults experience loneliness, especially after the loss of a spouse or friends. But there are ways to combat this. Consider finding a local senior center or community group where you can meet others who are in a similar stage of life. Volunteering is also a wonderful way to connect with others while giving back to your community. Not only does it provide a sense of purpose, but it also creates opportunities to meet people and form new friendships. Pets can also be a wonderful source of companionship. For those who are able to care for a pet, having an animal in the home can bring a lot of joy and comfort. Pets offer unconditional love, and taking care of them can provide a sense of purpose and routine. Whether it's a dog, a cat, or even a bird, having a pet can be a great way to combat loneliness and bring more joy into your daily life. Another important aspect of relationships is the one you have with yourself. Self-compassion is something that many of us struggle with, especially as we age. It's easy to be critical of ourselves, to focus on the things we can no longer do, or to dwell on past mistakes. But Hyakiwada encourages us to treat ourselves with the same kindness and compassion that we would offer to a friend. You deserve love and care, just as much as anyone else. Be gentle with yourself. Celebrate your achievements, no matter how small, and forgive yourself for any perceived shortcomings. Aging is not a failure, it's a natural part of life, and it's important to honor yourself for the journey you've been on. Self-compassion also means taking care of your body in a way that feels nurturing rather than punishing. Eat foods that nourish you, but also bring you joy. Move your body in ways that feel good, but don't push yourself to meet unrealistic standards. Listen to what your body needs, and honor those needs without guilt or judgment. The goal is to care for yourself in a way that makes you feel good, not to try to turn back the clock or meet society's unrealistic expectations of what aging should look like. In this part, we've explored how creating a fulfilling routine, nurturing relationships, and practicing self-compassion can help us live more joyful and meaningful lives after 80. It's about finding balance between taking care of our health and enjoying our lives, between staying active and allowing ourselves to rest, and between nurturing others and caring for ourselves. Aging well isn't about denying the realities of getting older, it's about embracing them and finding ways to make the most of every day. If you're enjoying this discussion, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next part. Let me know in the comments below, what is one thing you're going to do today to bring more joy into your life? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Stay tuned as we continue exploring more insights from Hyakiwada on how to live fully, freely, and joyfully in our later years. As we continue exploring Hyakiwada's insights into aging, it's time to delve into the concept of finding purpose and meaning in life after 80. Often, people believe that the later years of life are about winding down, taking a back seat, or simply waiting for time to pass. But that perspective misses out on so much of what makes this stage of life meaningful and fulfilling. Having a sense of purpose is one of the most crucial elements of well-being, regardless of age, and today, we're going to talk about how to find and nurture that sense of purpose as we grow older. Purpose is what gives our lives direction. It doesn't have to be something grand or world-changing, it could be as simple as caring for a loved one, creating art, or being a supportive friend. In fact, some of the most meaningful purposes in life are small and personal. As we age, finding a new purpose can bring joy, fulfillment, and a reason to get out of bed each morning. It's about discovering what lights you up, what makes you feel alive, and what makes your days feel worthwhile. One way to find purpose is by helping others. Whether it's volunteering at a local community center, helping out at a school, or offering support to neighbors, giving back is a powerful way to feel connected and valuable. The simple act of helping someone else, listening, sharing advice, or lending a hand, can remind us that we are still capable of making a difference in the lives of others. And that feeling of being needed and useful is one of the most rewarding experiences we can have, no matter how old we are. Volunteering isn't the only way to give back. Sometimes, it's about sharing your wisdom and experience with younger generations. Mentorship can be incredibly fulfilling, especially when you have years of experience that can help guide others. It could be as simple as telling stories from your life to your grandchildren or talking about the lessons you've learned with someone going through a tough time. There's something powerful about passing on your knowledge, your insights, and your experiences to those who are just beginning their journey. You're not just sharing information, you're creating a connection that bridges the gap between generations. And let's not forget the power of creativity when it comes to finding purpose. Creativity isn't just about making art, it's about bringing something new into the world, no matter what form it takes. For some people, it might be writing a book, painting a picture, or knitting a blanket. For others, it could be gardening, cooking, or even problem solving. The act of creating something, of putting a part of yourself out into the world, is a deeply fulfilling experience. It allows you to express yourself, to share a piece of who you are, and to leave a lasting impact, even if it's just in your own home or community. Hyaki Wada also encourages older adults to explore their passions and curiosities, even if they haven't had the chance to do so earlier in life. It's never too late to try something new. Whether it's learning how to play an instrument, picking up a new language, or finally taking that painting class you've always thought about, pursuing a passion can bring excitement and joy into your life. There's a misconception that trying new things is just for the young, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Exploring new interests keeps the mind engaged and curious, and it brings a sense of adventure to life, no matter your age. Another important aspect of finding purpose is embracing your role within your family and community. Many older adults feel a sense of purpose when they take on the role of a caregiver, whether that's helping with grandchildren or supporting other family members. Being a source of love, stability, and wisdom for your family can be an incredibly rewarding purpose. You're contributing to the well-being of those you love, and in doing so, you're creating lasting memories and connections that enrich not only your life but theirs as well. Community involvement is also key to maintaining a sense of purpose. Being part of a community, whether that's a neighborhood, a church group, or a social club, can help you feel connected and valued. It's about being part of something bigger than yourself, having people who rely on you, and knowing that your presence makes a difference. Community involvement can be as simple as attending local events, volunteering your time, or even just checking in on a neighbor. These small actions create a sense of belonging and remind us that we are all part of a larger fabric of humanity. A significant part of finding purpose also involves acceptance of who you are, where you are in life, and the journey that brought you here. Many older adults struggle with feelings of regret over things they wish they had done differently, but holding on to these regrets can prevent us from embracing the present. Wada emphasizes that it's never too late to make peace with your past, to forgive yourself, and to find purpose in the present moment. The key is to focus on what you can do today to bring joy and fulfillment into your life, rather than dwelling on what could have been. Another powerful way to find purpose is by focusing on relationships and the connections you build with others. Whether it's your family, friends, or even people you meet in your community, building and maintaining relationships is one of the most meaningful ways to bring purpose to your life. Take time to deepen your connections with the people around you. Call a friend you haven't spoken to in a while, make plans to spend time with a loved one, or simply be there to listen when someone needs you. These relationships are the foundation of a meaningful life, and investing in them brings both joy and purpose. One thing that Wada highlights is that purpose can also come from simply being present, not just for others, but for yourself. Living mindfully, appreciating the beauty of a moment, and savoring the little things in life can bring a sense of fulfillment that doesn't require any grand actions or achievements. It's about taking time to enjoy a cup of tea, watching the sunset, or listening to your favorite music without distraction. Sometimes, purpose isn't about doing, it's about being. Taking care of your own well-being can also be a purpose in itself. The better you take care of yourself, the more you're able to enjoy life and be there for the people who need you. Eating well, staying active, taking time to rest, and doing things that bring you joy are all acts of self-love that contribute to your overall sense of purpose. You're showing yourself that you matter, that your happiness and health are worth investing in, and that's a powerful thing. Spirituality is another area that can bring a deep sense of purpose, especially as we grow older. For some, this might mean connecting with a higher power, engaging in religious practices, or exploring their beliefs in a deeper way. For others, it might be about feeling connected to nature, the universe, or the larger mysteries of life. Spirituality can help us find meaning in the challenges we face, bring us comfort in times of uncertainty, and remind us that we are part of something greater than ourselves. Finding ways to connect with your spirituality, whatever that means for you, can be a powerful source of purpose and peace. As we move through this stage of life, it's important to remember that purpose is not something that's set in stone. It can change, evolve, and take on different forms. What gives you purpose today might be different from what gave you purpose a few years ago, and that's perfectly okay. The key is to remain open to new experiences, new passions, and new opportunities to make a difference, no matter how small they may seem. Purpose is what keeps us moving forward, what gives us a reason to wake up each day with hope and excitement. To wrap up this part, finding purpose in life after 80 is about embracing the opportunities that come with this stage of life. It's about finding new ways to give back, to connect, to create, and to simply be. It's about letting go of the idea that purpose has to be something monumental. Instead, it can be found in the small, everyday actions that bring joy and meaning to your life. Whether it's through relationships, creativity, community involvement, or simply savoring the present moment, purpose is what makes life rich and fulfilling at any age. If you found today's discussion meaningful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure to turn on notifications so you don't miss the next part, where we'll explore even more insights on living joyfully beyond the age of 80. Let me know in the comments below, what gives you a sense of purpose in your life right now? I'd love to hear your thoughts and continue this conversation. As we come to the final part of our journey into Hyaki Wada's teachings on aging, let's focus on something incredibly important: finding peace and embracing contentment in our later years. These are two powerful components that can help us live our most joyful and fulfilling lives, even after 80. In this part, we'll be exploring how acceptance, letting go, and creating a legacy can help bring a sense of fulfillment as we navigate through this stage of life. One of the most significant lessons from Wada's work is the power of acceptance of ourselves, our lives, and our journey. As we grow older, it becomes more important than ever to make peace with the life we've lived. This includes the choices we've made, the paths we've taken, and even the mistakes we've encountered along the way. The truth is, nobody's life is perfect, and we all have things we wish we could have done differently. But holding on to regrets only weighs us down. Acceptance, on the other hand, is a gift we can give ourselves. It's about understanding that we did the best we could with what we knew at the time, and finding peace in that realization. Letting go of the past doesn't mean forgetting it, it means choosing not to let it control our present. When we let go of regrets, we open ourselves up to fully experiencing the life we have right now. It's about making the conscious choice to focus on what is in front of us, rather than what is behind us. This kind of acceptance can bring a sense of lightness and freedom that many of us haven't felt in a long time. It allows us to fully engage with the present moment and appreciate everything that it has to offer. Another aspect of finding peace as we age is learning to let go of the things we cannot control. Life is full of uncertainty, and the older we get, the more we realize that there are some things that simply cannot be changed. We might face health challenges, the loss of loved ones, or changes in our physical abilities. While it's natural to feel frustrated or saddened by these things, we can also find a sense of peace by accepting them as part of our journey. The more we resist the things we can't control, the more we suffer. But when we let go, we find that there is still so much beauty and joy to be found, even in the midst of difficulty. Creating a sense of inner peace also involves simplifying our lives. As we grow older, we begin to realize that material possessions don't bring true happiness. In fact, they can often become a burden. Simplifying our surroundings, letting go of things we no longer need or use, can create a sense of clarity and space in our lives. It's about focusing on what truly matters: our relationships, our passions, and the experiences that bring us joy. Letting go of the clutter, both physical and emotional, can help us create a peaceful environment that allows us to fully enjoy the present. Wada also speaks about the importance of finding contentment in what we have. Contentment doesn't mean that we don't strive for more, it means that we appreciate what we have right now. It's about finding joy in the simple pleasures of life, a cup of tea in the morning, a walk in the park, a conversation with a friend. Contentment is about realizing that happiness isn't something that exists in the future, waiting for us to achieve it. It's something that we can experience right now, by appreciating the beauty of the present moment. One powerful way to find peace and contentment in our later years is by creating a legacy. Leaving a legacy doesn't necessarily mean leaving behind money or property, it's about the impact we have on the people around us, the memories we create, and the love we share. Creating a legacy is about thinking about the kind of mark we want to leave on the world, and taking steps to make that vision a reality. This could be through sharing our stories, passing down traditions, or simply being a source of love and support for the people in our lives. For many, creating a legacy means passing on the lessons we've learned throughout our lives. These lessons can be incredibly valuable to the younger generations, who are just beginning to navigate the complexities of life. Whether it's sharing advice, telling stories from our past, or simply being a good listener, the wisdom we share can have a lasting impact. It's about being a role model, showing others what it means to live with integrity, kindness, and resilience. Another way to create a legacy is through acts of kindness. The way we treat others, the compassion we show, and the love we give can leave a lasting impression that goes far beyond our time on this earth. Simple acts of kindness, helping a neighbor, comforting a friend, or volunteering in the community, create ripples that spread far and wide. They may seem small in the moment, but they have the power to make a big difference in the lives of others. Legacy can also be found in the creative works we leave behind. Whether it's a piece of art, a garden we've cultivated, a book we've written, or a recipe we've perfected, the things we create are a reflection of who we are. They are a way for us to leave a part of ourselves behind, something that future generations can connect with. Creativity is a beautiful way to express ourselves and to leave a lasting impression on the world. Finding peace and creating a sense of fulfillment also involves focusing on the relationships in our lives. The connections we have with others are what make life truly meaningful. It's important to nurture those relationships, to spend time with the people we love, and to let them know how much they mean to us. Whether it's family, friends, or members of our community, the bonds we share are what bring richness and depth to our lives. One of the most powerful things we can do as we grow older is to focus on forgiveness, both of ourselves and of others. Holding on to grudges or past hurts only weighs us down and prevents us from finding true peace. Forgiveness is not about condoning what happened or pretending that it didn't hurt, it's about choosing to let go of the pain and allowing ourselves to move forward. When we forgive, we free ourselves from the burden of anger and resentment, and we create space for joy and contentment. Another key to finding peace is learning to embrace the unknown. As we get older, the future can feel uncertain, and it's natural to feel anxious about what lies ahead. But the truth is, none of us know what the future holds. Instead of fearing the unknown, we can choose to embrace it as part of the adventure of life. It's about trusting that, no matter what happens, we have the strength and resilience to face it. Embracing the unknown allows us to let go of worry and fully experience the present moment, without being weighed down by fears of what might come. In our later years, it's also important to focus on self-care. Taking care of ourselves, both physically and emotionally, is crucial to finding peace and contentment. This means listening to our bodies, resting when we need to, and nourishing ourselves with healthy foods. It also means taking time for the things that bring us joy, whether that's spending time in nature, listening to music, or enjoying a good book. Self-care is not a luxury, it's a necessity, especially as we grow older. As we come to the end of this journey, it's clear that aging is not about decline, it's about growth. It's about finding new ways to live fully, to connect deeply, and to create a life that is rich in meaning and joy. It's about letting go of the things that no longer serve us, embracing the present moment, and finding peace in who we are and where we are in our journey. Aging is not something to fear, it's a beautiful part of life, filled with opportunities for reflection, connection, and love. Thank you for being here with me throughout this discussion. I hope these insights from Miyake Wada have inspired you to embrace your later years with joy, purpose, and a sense of peace. If you found value in this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future content. I'd also love to hear from you. What is one thing you're taking away from this conversation that you're going to apply in your own life? Leave a comment below and let me know. Let's continue to inspire each other to live fully, freely, and joyfully, no matter our age. Hey everyone! Today, we're diving into a topic that might just change the way you think about aging. Have you ever wondered if all those rules we impose on ourselves for the sake of living longer really lead to a happy life after 80? We're constantly being told to avoid certain foods, stick to strict routines, and give up things we love, but is it all worth it? What if I told you that one of the world's leading experts in geriatric psychiatry believes that after 80, it might be time to let go of these rules and start living life on your own terms? Stick around, because in this video, we're about to explore some groundbreaking ideas that could not only transform how you view old age but also bring more joy and freedom to your life right now. Before we jump in, I'd really appreciate it if you could give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Your support helps me keep bringing these important lessons to light. Also, let me know in the comments below what you think. If you like the video, comment number 1, and if not, comment number 0. Your feedback is what helps me make better content for you. Alright, let's get started. For many of us, the pursuit of a long, healthy life has become an obsession. We're bombarded with messages that tell us to eat the right foods, stay away from bad habits, exercise regularly, and schedule every possible medical checkup. It's like if we don't follow these guidelines to a T, we're somehow doomed to an unhealthy, short life. But here's the thing, is all of this restriction really the secret to a happy life, especially after 80? When I look around, I see people who are constantly depriving themselves. They skip their favorite foods, avoid that occasional glass of wine, or even quit smoking, all in the hopes of living just a little longer. But for what? To live longer while feeling miserable? To add a few extra years but never enjoy them? What if I told you that a highly respected geriatric psychiatrist, someone with over 30 years of experience working with the elderly, believes that once you hit 80, it's time to throw away all those restrictions? I know, it sounds radical, but stay with me. This expert insists that it's true. After decades of working closely with older adults, they've come to a surprising conclusion. After 80, it's time to start living life on your terms. If you love certain foods, eat them. If you want to have a drink, go ahead and pour that glass of wine. Even if smoking is your guilty pleasure, light up if that makes you happy. According to this seasoned professional, the small joys that come from indulging in what you love are more important than following rigid rules that are supposed to keep you healthy. In fact, the constant pressure to maintain a perfect healthy lifestyle may be doing more harm than good. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, isn't this terrible advice? Aren't those things bad for our health? Here's the twist, this advice comes from someone who has spent a lifetime studying the psychological and emotional aspects of aging. He's seen the effects of constant restriction and the toll it takes on a person's happiness. He believes that the endless pursuit of longevity through self-denial and discipline might be causing more harm than any of those little indulgences ever would. Let's break this down further. This expert argues that the obsession with health and physical perfection in old age can become a burden. It weighs people down with guilt and anxiety every time they indulge in something deemed bad for them. We've been conditioned to think that every sweet treat, every drink, every cigarette is a nail in our coffin. But what's the point of living longer if those extra years are filled with stress, guilt, and a lack of enjoyment? Think about it, it's a cruel irony. We spend so much time worrying about our health and trying to avoid future illnesses that we forget to enjoy the present. We deny ourselves simple pleasures for the sake of adding more years, but what's the cost of all that self-denial? The real tragedy is that in our efforts to live longer, we end up sacrificing the very things that make life worth living. The expert even suggests that certain illnesses, like cancer, which we all dread, are a natural part of aging rather than something that should always be fought off at all costs. Instead of living in fear of illness and death, what if we learn to accept these realities with grace? There's a profound sense of peace that can come from accepting the inevitable. No matter how many superfoods we eat or how many hours we spend exercising, the truth remains, aging and illness are natural parts of life. Wouldn't it be more freeing to make peace with that instead of spending our later years in a constant state of worry? If you're in your 80s, or even approaching that milestone, the message is clear: it's time to stop stressing over every calorie, every glass of wine, every doctor's appointment. You've already made it this far. You've lived through hardships, raised families, built careers, and overcome countless challenges. Now, it's time to live for yourself, to let go of the constraints society places on you, and embrace the freedom you've earned. Imagine waking up each morning and focusing on what brings you joy rather than what might add an extra year to your life. What if instead of worrying about longevity, you focused on living fully in each moment? This could be the key to experiencing the happiest years of your life. Whether you're 80, nearing that age, or even just thinking about your future, this is a lesson we could all benefit from. Life is meant to be lived, not just prolonged. But where does this revolutionary perspective come from? It's deeply rooted in the teachings of Hiaki Wada, a leading figure in geriatric psychiatry. His groundbreaking book, The Wall of 80, has taken the world by storm since its release in 2022. The book has resonated particularly with those in their 50s and 60s who are preparing for their own aging or caring for elderly parents. Wada's approach challenges everything we thought we knew about growing older. Many readers report having an aha moment while reading his work, realizing that the advice they've been following or giving to aging loved ones may have been doing more harm than good. Wada's teachings remind us that we should focus less on strict health rules and more on the quality of life. His philosophy invites us to question what health and happiness really mean in old age. It's not about avoiding death at all costs, it's about living each day with joy, freedom, and without unnecessary burdens. And perhaps, that is the most important lesson of all. After a lifetime of discipline, sacrifice, and hard work, the final stage of life should be about experiencing true fulfillment, on your terms. If you're still here and enjoying this conversation, comment number 1 below to let me know you're still with me. And if you haven't yet, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more insights like this. Thank you for being here and giving me your valuable time. Let's make these years count together. That's it for part 1. Stay tuned as we continue to break down Wada's 4 major walls of aging and explore how we can overcome them to live more joyful, fulfilling lives beyond 80. The relentless pursuit of health and longevity has us all caught in a cycle of anxiety, but today, we're going to take a closer look at why breaking free from that mindset might be the best thing you could do for your well-being after 80. In The Wall of 80, Hiaki Wada introduces the concept of 4 major walls that people often face as they age, especially after hitting that significant milestone of 80 years. In this part, we're going to explore what these walls are and how they can affect not just your health, but also your happiness and quality of life. The first of these walls is something that might surprise you. It's our overdependence on doctors, medications, and hospitals. Now, don't get me wrong, medical advancements have been life-saving for so many of us. But there comes a point where the constant doctor visits, the endless prescription refills, and the sheer number of tests become overwhelming. For many people in their 80s, healthcare becomes the focal point of their lives. Days are filled with trips to various specialists, hours spent waiting in clinics, and an ever-growing list of medications that need to be taken daily. The problem is, this intense focus on healthcare often overshadows everything else. Think about how often you see elderly people spending what feels like a significant portion of their time just trying to maintain their health. The goal is always to prevent the next ailment or catch a problem early, but at what cost? Is it worth spending what could be a peaceful, fulfilling time running from one appointment to another? Wada suggests that this overdependence can lead to a cycle of fear and anxiety. We start to see every ache, every little change in our bodies, as something catastrophic, something that must be fixed immediately, or else. What if, instead of being consumed by fear, we allowed ourselves to relax a little and focus on enjoying our lives? This isn't to say we should ignore health issues or refuse treatment. But rather than living under the shadow of constant medical intervention, Wada believes we should trust our bodies a bit more, listen to what they need, and not let healthcare dictate every single aspect of our daily routine. As we grow older, embracing a less rigid approach to health might just be the key to enjoying these golden years without the cloud of anxiety hanging over us. The second wall that Wada talks about is something we all have to face: the aging process itself. There's no escaping it, our bodies will inevitably change. We might feel less energetic, our physical capabilities will diminish, and we may need to adjust to a different way of life. For a lot of people, these changes can be incredibly hard to accept. They see it as a loss, a reminder that they are no longer who they once were. But what if we could look at these changes differently? Instead of seeing aging as a loss, we could try to view it as an evolution. It's true that our bodies change, but that doesn't mean life loses its meaning. In fact, aging can bring a unique sense of wisdom and perspective that can only be gained through experience. If we can accept these physical changes with grace, we can let go of the frustration and anger that often comes with fighting the inevitable. Imagine the freedom that comes from no longer feeling like you have to fight against time, but rather, flow with it. Yes, your body may be slowing down, but that can also mean more time to reflect, to enjoy the little things that might have gone unnoticed in the rush of youth. It's not about giving up, but about adapting. We can still be active, still do the things we love, maybe just at a different pace or in a different way. We can still find joy in our everyday lives, even if that means taking a little longer to do something. Slowing down doesn't mean giving up, it means savoring what's in front of us and finding new ways to appreciate life. The third wall Wada mentions is perhaps one of the most difficult to deal with: the fear of cognitive decline. Dementia and Alzheimer's are terrifying prospects for many people, and the fear of losing one's mental sharpness can often be worse than the physical changes of aging. But again, Wada challenges us to rethink this fear. Instead of spending our time worrying about what might happen, he suggests focusing on the here and now, the moments of clarity, love, and connection that we still have. It's natural to worry about losing our memories or our independence. However, living in constant fear of cognitive decline only robs us of the joy we could be experiencing today. The truth is, nobody knows what the future holds. Instead of fearing the worst, Wada encourages us to focus on the positives, the relationships that still bring us joy, the memories that we still hold dear, and the small moments of everyday happiness that make life beautiful. It's important to remember that, even if we face challenges with memory or cognitive abilities, our value as individuals doesn't diminish. We are still capable of giving and receiving love, of connecting with others, and of finding joy in the present moment. It's not about what we can't do, but about embracing what we still can do, no matter how small those things might seem. Finally, the fourth wall Wada discusses is society's general fear of being over 80. Let's be real, society often doesn't paint a pretty picture of life after 80. We hear stories about decline, dependency, and irrelevance. It's as if once you hit a certain age, your contributions no longer matter, and life becomes about mere survival rather than truly living. But Wada argues that this doesn't have to be the case. What if we could change the way we view life after 80? What if, instead of seeing it as the end, we saw it as the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter where we are finally free from the pressures of work and raising families, where we can focus on what truly brings us joy and fulfillment? Life after 80 doesn't have to be a slow decline into irrelevance. It can be a time of light, of peace, and of contentment, if we approach it with the right mindset. Imagine waking up each day with the freedom to choose how you want to spend your time, to do the things that bring you joy, to connect with the people who matter most to you, and to embrace life without the burden of societal expectations. Aging doesn't have to be something to fear, it can be a beautiful journey, filled with opportunities for reflection, connection, and growth. Many of us dream of living vibrant, fulfilling lives right up until our final days. We want to remain independent, happy, and surrounded by the people we love. But the truth is, as we age, challenges are inevitable. The years when we can live completely independently are often limited, and most of us will eventually need some level of assistance, whether from family, friends, or professionals. And that's okay. It's a natural part of life. What matters most is how we approach this stage of life. Do we face it with fear and restriction, or with joy, freedom, and acceptance? Wada's message is simple: let go of the fear and embrace the life you have, right now. It's not about the number of years you add to your life, it's about the quality of those years. It's about focusing on what brings you happiness and fulfillment, no matter what challenges you face. These four walls are not easy to break through. They are deeply ingrained in the way we think about aging, health, and longevity. But if we can start to see them for what they are, barriers that limit our happiness rather than protect us, we might just be able to break free. We might just be able to embrace life after 80 as a time of joy, freedom, and true fulfillment. So, let's continue diving into Hyaki Wada's revolutionary perspective on aging and what it truly means to live a fulfilling life beyond 80. So far, we've talked about the four major walls of aging: overdependence on healthcare, accepting the natural physical changes that come with age, fears surrounding cognitive decline, and society's misconceptions about life after 80. Now, let's take a deeper look into some real, practical ways to overcome these walls and create a life filled with joy and fulfillment in our later years. First, let's talk about breaking free from the medical maze that so many elderly people find themselves caught in. After all, medical care is essential, but when it starts to take over our lives, it can make us lose focus on the bigger picture, our happiness. How do we strike a balance between taking care of our health and not allowing it to consume our everyday lives? The answer lies in creating boundaries and shifting our mindset. Instead of looking at health as something we must constantly fix, what if we focused on health as an aspect of our overall well-being, a tool that helps us live more freely rather than a full-time job? Regular checkups and addressing genuine health concerns are important, but they shouldn't take over everything else. Make a promise to yourself that medical appointments will not be the only events on your calendar. Schedule time for activities that bring you joy, like visiting friends, exploring hobbies, or even just enjoying a quiet afternoon in the garden. Prioritize happiness along with health. Hyaki Wada speaks a lot about regaining control over your schedule and not letting healthcare dictate every waking moment. Yes, there may be appointments you need to attend, but it's just as crucial to carve out time for yourself. Your health is important, but so is living your life with joy and meaning. Sometimes, the best medicine is simply spending time doing the things that make your heart happy, whether that's reconnecting with loved ones, cooking your favorite meal, or taking a walk in the park without worrying about your next checkup. Now, let's shift gears and discuss the idea of letting go of unrealistic expectations about physical ability as we grow older. Many people struggle with the idea of losing physical abilities or energy. This is often portrayed as a negative thing, a sign of decline. But what if we reframed our thinking? Losing some physical strength or energy doesn't mean we are losing ourselves or our value. Aging is not about trying to live as though we're still in our 20s or 30s. It's about evolving and embracing a new way of being. The truth is, our capabilities will change, but that's okay. It's natural. It's part of life. Instead of fighting against those changes and exhausting ourselves trying to keep up with impossible standards, we should learn to adapt and find new joys that align with where we are now. There's something incredibly powerful about accepting yourself, fully, at every stage of life. It's about recognizing that aging doesn't diminish your worth or your ability to enjoy life. It simply gives you a new lens through which to view the world, one that is often richer and filled with a different kind of beauty. If you're someone who loves being active but can't do the same activities you used to do, try finding new ones that you can still enjoy. Swimming, gentle yoga, or even gardening are great options for staying active without pushing your body too hard. Adaptation is key. Instead of seeing limitations, look at it as an opportunity to explore new activities, to find different ways to keep moving that feel good for you now. Next, let's tackle one of the most emotionally challenging walls, the fear of cognitive decline. This fear is very real, but it can also be debilitating if we allow it to take over our thoughts. The possibility of memory loss or dementia is undeniably scary, but focusing solely on that fear only takes away from the precious moments we have now. Wada believes that instead of fearing what might happen, we should embrace the present and make the most of our mental sharpness while we have it. Engaging in activities that challenge the mind is a powerful way to stave off cognitive decline. Reading, doing puzzles, learning something new, or even just having deep conversations with friends can help keep the brain active. It's not about trying to prevent aging, because we all know that's impossible, but about staying engaged with life and using the abilities we have to their fullest extent. Staying socially connected is just as important for brain health as any mental exercise. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who make you laugh, and who challenge you to think deeply about the world. These social connections can be a lifeline to a healthy, engaged mind. And let's not forget about creativity. Whether it's painting, writing, knitting, or playing music, expressing yourself creatively has a positive impact on both mental and emotional health. It doesn't matter if you're any good at it, what matters is that it brings you joy and keeps your mind engaged. Creativity is like a playground for your brain. It allows you to explore, to create, to bring something new into the world, and it keeps your mind flexible and sharp. Moving on, one of the biggest challenges many older adults face is society's perception of life after 80. There's a prevailing narrative that life beyond a certain age is less meaningful, that once you're no longer working or raising children, your contributions no longer matter. But that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, life after 80 can be one of the most meaningful periods of all. It's a time to share wisdom, to connect deeply with others, and to live without the pressures that have often weighed heavily throughout our earlier years. You've spent decades working hard, providing for your family, contributing to your community. Now is the time to live for yourself. Instead of seeing life after 80 as the end of the road, think of it as a time when you can fully embrace who you are without any of the societal expectations that once held you back. It's a chance to explore new hobbies, make new friends, and deepen your relationships with the people you love. Hiaki Wada encourages us to reject the idea that our value diminishes with age. Your experiences, your insights, and your wisdom are irreplaceable. The lessons you've learned over a lifetime are incredibly valuable, not just to you, but to the people around you. Whether it's sharing stories with your grandchildren, volunteering in your community, or simply being a source of love and support to your friends and family, the role you play is vital. Another thing to keep in mind is the importance of emotional well-being. As we grow older, there are inevitable losses, friends and loved ones pass away, and it's easy to feel isolated. Finding joy in the small things, like a beautiful sunset, a good book, or a meaningful conversation, can make a huge difference. Gratitude is a powerful practice. By focusing on the things you're thankful for, you can cultivate a sense of contentment that carries you through even the toughest days. Taking care of your emotional well-being also means letting go of regret. Many older adults carry the weight of past regrets, feeling that it's too late to change or make amends. But it's never too late to find peace. Forgiving yourself, making amends if possible, and finding ways to move forward can free you from the emotional burdens that might be holding you back. This time of life is about finding peace with your past and embracing the present. Now, before we wrap up this part, I want to remind you that these insights are not about giving up or losing hope. They are about finding a new kind of strength, one that comes from acceptance, adaptation, and the pursuit of joy in whatever form that may take. Remember, aging is not a failure. It is a natural part of life, and it can be one of the most enriching experiences if we let it be. Let's change the narrative around aging. Let's embrace it for the beautiful, complex journey that it is. If you're finding value in this conversation, please remember to give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming parts. Leave me a comment below. What is one thing you're going to take away from today's discussion? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Stay tuned for the next part, where we'll continue exploring more about how to live fully beyond the age of 80. There are still so many important lessons to discuss, and I'm excited to share them with you. Let's continue our journey through Hiaki Wada's teachings and explore how we can break down more barriers to live a truly fulfilling life after 80. In this part, we'll be focusing on some practical changes you can make in your everyday routine, as well as exploring how relationships and social connections play a huge role in maintaining your happiness and well-being as you age. The goal here is to find ways to bring more joy, peace, and purpose into our later years, without feeling like we're constantly battling against time. One of the key insights from Wada's work is the importance of finding a daily routine that brings you balance, without feeling restrictive or overwhelming. For many people, routines provide a sense of structure and comfort, especially as we get older. But there's a difference between a routine that supports your well-being and one that makes you feel stuck or limited. The trick is to design a daily schedule that includes activities that nourish both your body and mind, but also allows for flexibility and spontaneity. One great way to start is by incorporating movement into your day, but in a way that feels enjoyable. Whether it's a morning walk, light stretching, dancing to your favorite music, or even gardening, the key is to keep moving in a way that brings you joy. The goal here isn't to set any records or prove anything, it's simply to stay active and help your body feel good. Movement doesn't have to be strenuous to be beneficial. In fact, gentle, consistent activity is often more effective in maintaining mobility and reducing aches and pains. Another important aspect of creating a fulfilling routine is making sure there's time for rest and relaxation. Sometimes, we forget how essential it is to give ourselves permission to rest, truly rest, without guilt. When you've spent decades working hard, raising a family, or constantly staying busy, it can be difficult to slow down and allow yourself to relax. But taking time to rest, whether it's an afternoon nap or simply sitting outside and enjoying nature, is crucial for both physical and mental health. Hiaki Wada also emphasizes the importance of making time for hobbies and creative pursuits. This might be a great opportunity to revisit activities you used to enjoy but haven't had time for in years, or to try something completely new. Whether it's painting, knitting, playing a musical instrument, writing, or cooking, these activities can bring a sense of purpose and satisfaction that's often missing from our daily lives as we grow older. It's about finding activities that bring you a sense of fulfillment, not because you're trying to achieve something or meet anyone's expectations, but simply because it makes you happy. Another aspect of a fulfilling routine is taking care of your mental health, which brings us to the topic of mindfulness and emotional well-being. Mindfulness practices can be incredibly beneficial, especially as we age. You don't need to be an expert in meditation to reap the benefits of mindfulness. It can be as simple as taking a few moments each day to sit quietly, breathe deeply, and focus on the present moment. It's about letting go of worries about the future or regrets about the past and simply being present. Mindfulness can help you find a sense of calm, even in the midst of life's challenges, and it can help you appreciate the small moments that bring beauty and joy to your day. Mindfulness can also be practiced through gratitude. Taking time each day to reflect on the things you are grateful for can shift your perspective and bring a sense of peace and contentment. It could be as simple as appreciating a sunny day, a kind gesture from a friend, or a delicious meal. Gratitude is a powerful tool for finding happiness in the present moment, rather than constantly wishing for something different. Now, let's talk about one of the most crucial elements of aging well, our relationships. Human connection is one of the most powerful determinants of happiness and longevity, and it becomes even more important as we age. Maintaining close relationships with family and friends can provide a sense of belonging, purpose, and support, which are all vital for our mental and emotional well-being. It's not just about having people around, it's about the quality of those relationships. Hiaki Wada suggests that as we get older, we should make an intentional effort to nurture our social connections. This doesn't mean you need a huge circle of friends. In fact, having a few deep, meaningful relationships can be far more fulfilling than having a large network of acquaintances. Take time to reach out to friends and family members, to have conversations that go beyond the superficial. Share your thoughts, your memories, your dreams, and listen to theirs. These kinds of deep connections are what bring true meaning to our lives. One way to nurture these relationships is by making regular plans to spend time together, whether it's meeting for coffee, going for a walk, or simply calling each other on the phone. It's easy to let relationships fade when we don't make time for them, but staying connected can make a huge difference in our overall well-being. And don't be afraid to make new connections, either. Whether it's joining a local group, volunteering, or attending community events, putting yourself out there and meeting new people can bring new friendships and opportunities for connection.